Well, immigration, listen to this, just overtook inflation as Americans' top concern right now as voters in New Hampshire head to the polls. It's pretty big. A new Harvard-Harris poll, meanwhile, shows concerns over the border, topping rising prices, the economy, and crime as well. And the Supreme Court just handed the Biden administration a win. May not be a win politically, but a win legally for certain on immigration yesterday. The court's ruling will allow Border Patrol agents to cut the razor wire that Texas installed to try and stop the unprecedented surge of migrants. The ruling escalates a political battle between Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the White House over how to protect our southern border. Texas Governor Greg Abbott warning, this is not over. I will continue to defend Texas's constitutional authority to secure the border and prevent the Biden admin from destroying our property. Emily, I want to make clear here, the Biden administration, this is not something that is happening to them. This is something they are choosing to allow to happen. The Immigration and Nationality Act says in no uncertain terms that the Attorney General shall detain certain groups of migrants. They're not doing it. And then January 2nd, you had the Solicitor General of the Biden administration say to the Supreme Court, it's time to stop Texas.
And let's walk through what that looked like, Kaylee. So Texas put up razor wire to try to defend herself against the millions of illegal immigrants that are flooding across her border, depleting that state of resources, of finances, of energies, of the priority that has been consistently maintained over and over again as rock bottom in this administration's eyes. So Texas dared to try to protect herself. And then the Biden administration came in and started cutting the wire. So the Attorney General of Texas sued, saying, hey, administration, federal, please stop doing this. Let me protect myself. Now, this ruling from the Supreme Court has to do with the injunction while it's on appeal. It means that the Supreme Court said, while we are waiting for an official opinion from the lower courts, we are going to allow you, Biden, to keep cutting that wire. And let's go back to a quote from the Attorney General, Kaylee, as it was released. He said this to Fox News Digital. We'll put it up on the screen here. He said the Supreme Court's temporary order allows Biden to continue his illegal effort to aid the foreign invasion of America. The destruction of Texas's border barriers will not help enforce the law or keep American citizens safe. This fight is not over. I look forward to defending our state sovereignty. Let me tell you what the Biden administration argued. This is the irony. The Biden administration argued that the reason that it had to cut down the wire is because the wires were impeding the federal agents from doing their job. You know what the Department of Homeland Security said after this ruling? They came out and essentially said, oh, good, now we can go back to doing our job of enforcing the laws. But I think that every single state, I think the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have lost loved ones to fentanyl, including many people watching this show, I think the mayors that are at arms watching their citizens, their taxpayer citizens being displaced by illegal immigrants, Maine watching their citizens enjoy buildings that are built specifically for illegal immigrants while giving them free rent, free iPhones. The list goes on of the destruction. That somehow is what the federal government is saying. That's them doing their job. So bravo to Attorney General and the governor for continuing their fight. But at the moment, unfortunately, it's a losing for the battle, but hopefully a win for the war in the long run.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris deployed on the airwaves last night to carry the immigration talking points. Let's watch.
Well, so there is no question that our immigration system is broken. But sadly, people on the other side of the aisle have been playing politics with this issue. The solutions are at hand. And, you know, gone are the days, sadly, where a President Bush or John McCain understood that we should have a bipartisan approach to fixing this problem, which is a long-standing problem.
You know, fact check Vice President Harris, as I come to you, Harris Faulkner. There were 89 executive actions the Biden administration took to roll back Trump's actions. And by the way, I seem to remember Democrats controlling Congress when they said that they couldn't pass an immigration bill.
Yeah, they had bicameral leadership, both houses. They had the White House, and they still couldn't get it done, which begs the question, who backed away? Kamala Harris needs to take a look at that. Like when it was on their watch and within their own hands, they couldn't get it done or didn't want to. I have 11 cousins in the Dallas metro. I have a lot of family in Texas, and my other border home state is my husband's, where he was born and raised, and that's in Arizona. I have a lot of family that watches this happen every day and wonders who cares about those states enough to make them feel like they're part of the American United States. Who cares? Because it doesn't seem like it would be the man in the White House or anybody who he's tasked with fixing it. So if they aren't going to take care of it at a federal level, if Alejandro Mayorkas is the Homeland Secretary, Security Secretary, is going to lose 85,000 to 100,000 locations for migrant children, don't know what we did with that many as they came across the border. If all of that is going to continue to happen, then these states have to do their jobs to protect our citizens. We're all one country. The government, the federal government, may not see us that way. Like they're at the head of the snake and then we're just on the ground. No, it's the other way around. We're in control as American citizens, and we have every right in our states to want our local governments, our state governments, and to expect them to take care of us. So the White House has now got to prove, do they love us or not? If not, then just get out of the way and let us protect our own people.
Right, because let's be clear, Americans are dying because of our porous southern border. Here's Rick Harrison. His son just passed away from a fentanyl overdose. He said this to the New York Post: "Yes, I can confirm Adam died from a fentanyl overdose. The fentanyl crisis in this country must be taken more seriously. It seems it is just flowing over the borders and nothing is being done about it. We must do better." Sean Duffy, I heard last week Ambassador Nikki Haley say she was at a town hall event where a mom in that town hall event, in that moment, lost her son to a fentanyl overdose. She came back to an event a week later with tears in her eyes and said, "I wanted to share this story because I wanted to know that this would mean something to someone and someone would fix it." Sean Duffy.
Yeah, they're overdoses or the poisonings from fentanyl. And the problem is, it appears that Joe Biden doesn't seem to care. Tens of thousands of American families have lost loved ones. And to your point, you said that Joe Biden took, how many executive orders to overturn Trump policies. But on top of that, he went to the Supreme Court to make sure that they can cut the wire and tear down the barriers that Texas have put up to secure the border. They've done everything they can to make sure this border is open and fentanyl flows in. It begs the question, what's up with Amy Coney Barrett? Has she drinking the D.C. water and become now a liberal? I get that from Justice Roberts, but Amy Coney Barrett now making sure that she can fight Texas and keep the border open. But you mentioned polling, right? So this is the top issue, and it's not just Republicans. 81% of Republicans believe this is the top issue, but half of Democrats believe this is a top issue, immigration. But after that, you have inflation, and then you have jobs in the economy. These are all top-rated issues for the Republican Party. Joe Biden is failing at the top three issues that Americans care about. At 7% comes in abortion, which is what Joe Biden is going to run on. Not a good strategy.
Not a good strategy. Molly, there's one party that has done something about this, and let's scroll it. H.R. 2, this is what Republicans passed, restarting the border wall construction, adding border agents to the southern border. You can see the list right there. So when you say Republicans haven't taken action, this bill could be passed today by the United States Senate.
Yeah, we'll see ultimately what happens with that. But I think you and Sean have both raised some great points in the last couple of minutes regarding the fentanyl and fentanyl overdoses across America. It's been hitting particularly hard in New Hampshire, in the Granite State, where voters are at the polls right now talking about this issue. And New Hampshire is, in fact, a border state. They have about 58 miles of border with the northern border with Canada. They're in the Swanton sector. The headlines over the summer were that there was a tenfold increase in crossings on the northern border. We don't pay as much attention up there, but that also includes some of the folks that were caught that are on the terror watch list. Governor Sununu tried to do something about this in the fall, calling on the federal government to step in and also to allow them locally to do more. They've put $1.4 million into this in a task force there on the northern border, and it's something, both fentanyl and this border issue, that New Hampshire voters are caring about, and we may see that at the polls.
It's an absolute tragedy. Molly Lyon, thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.